Hi friends and family, welcome to Cooking Cronies. Today I'm going to show you what else you could do with my favorite pizza recipe. So I have 1/3 of my favorite pizza crust sitting here waiting for me, and I've got 1 pound of Johnson's Italian hot. You can use whatever Italian sausage you like, but we like the hot. So on my stove I have my cast iron skillet heating up, and I'm going to brown the sausage. Snap, crackle, pop here. So here we go. That's already hot. I'm going to have to use my pot holder. So I'm going to brown it, and I want to keep it crumbled because I'm going to roll out my favorite pizza crust. And what I'm making here today is a sausage roll. And you can either use it as a main course or as a snack. And tonight is going to be our main course because I'm not cooking dinner. I'm cooking it early today. So I'm going to brown this, and I've already chopped 1 onion, and I have some Pueblo chili that I've thawed out today, and I'm going to put strips of the Pueblo chili on my sausage bread. So I'm making this ahead of time, and I'll just put it in the refrigerator, or you can freeze it for another day, but we will be using it today, so I will make it and just put it in my refrigerator until we're ready to bake it. So I'm going to add some Italian seasoning mix, maybe. Here it is. And it's about 1 tablespoon. Oh, this is a brand new one. Let's see. Don't want to break my nail, so I'll use a knife. Kids don't do this at home. Alright, so I'm going to put about 1 tablespoon of the Italian seasoning in there. You can add more or less. And some garlic powder. And salt and pepper to taste. It's however much you like. We like spicy, so therefore I usually put more pepper on there than I do salt. And I'll continue browning it. That's coming real nicely. So while that's browning, I'm going to start rolling out my dough. And what I'm going to do here, you'll see my onions here, I'm not going to cook them because I want the flavor of the onion to come through. You can cook them with the sausage if you like, but I prefer the raw in my sausage bread. I'm going to use parchment paper on my sheet just because it makes for easier cleanup. And it rolls up real nice, so I roll it the other way so it'll lay flat. Bet this sounds good on the microphone. Alright, so there we go. So that's on my sheet. So I'm going to start rolling this out. Excuse me, Vicki, I need a little bit of flour on here. A little bit more flour, I should say. And now I'll use my rolling pin. And I'm going to make an oblong shape. And here you can make it as thick or as thin as you like. Because it's going to have filling, I really don't want it too thick because the dough will take over and it'll take over the meat. And it doesn't have to be perfect. And you're going to roll it like a jelly roll. I'm going to flip it one more time, maybe. If I can do it without tearing it. There we go. This makes for really nice snacks for games when you're watching football or baseball, any of the sports. So there's hardly any grease in this skillet from the sausage. It was pretty lean, but I still will put it on some paper towels before I put it on my dough, just because I don't want a greasy sausage bread. There'll be enough oil in the cheese. Alright, so this is cooked, and what I'm going to do is get a bowl, and I'm going to put some paper towels in the bottom of it to catch all the drippings from the sausage. So, pouring this out. I used a pretty big bowl, but this way I don't have to worry about spilling any of the sausage over onto the floor or countertop. So there we go. Guess there was some grease in that. Look at that. I don't know if you can see it, but it caught quite a bit of grease, so I'm glad I did that and just didn't scoop that onto my dough. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, I want to separate some strips of the Pueblo chili. Again, we like it spicy, so hence the chili. You can put it on or leave it off, whatever you prefer. But we like it. I'm even leaving some of the char on there. It just gives some flavor. I don't want too many seeds because with Pueblo chili, you never know how much heat it's going to have. That's the beauty of it. It's so flavorful. So, and I don't want any extra liquid on it, so I'm going to get some paper towels to put the strips in or on while I'm doing this to soak up any extra liquid. Like I said, this was frozen this morning and I took it out just to make this recipe. Don't want to make it too hot in case when my grandson comes, he can eat some too. All right. I think that's going to be enough. Alright, I'm going to spoon the sausage onto the dough, and I'll move it around a little bit to make sure everything's covered, or all the dough is covered. Don't want to get too close to the ends. I don't want it falling out when I move it. take that paper towel out. All right. There we go. Boy, that smells good. Just going to move this around. Try to put it in an even layer so that it rolls nicely. There we go. And now I'm going to put some strips of the chili on here. Just kind of separate it a little bit so that it's on each layer of the roll. I don't want it to be eaten in one bite. I'm going to squeeze some of these bigger chunks just to make them into smaller pieces of sausage. All right, that's done. And now I'm going to sprinkle some onion. Depending on your preference, you can use the whole diced onion or just a portion of it. Today I think I'm not going to use the whole thing. I don't know why, it's just my preference for today. All right, let me wipe my fingers. And I'm going to start with my cheese. And I have some mozzarella. Normally I will grate my own mozzarella, but I've had this in the freezer, so I decided to use it. The reason I like to grate my own cheese is because they put an additive in the cheese to keep it from clumping, and so sometimes it just doesn't melt evenly. But for this recipe, this will work. So I'm going to sprinkle the cheese onto the sausage. You know, bell pepper would be good in this as well, but if I were going to use bell pepper, I would probably cook it down a little bit with the meat. All right, that looks like enough cheese. So now I'm going to start rolling. And it doesn't have to be a tight roll, but you don't want it too loose either. So you're going to roll it just like you would a jelly roll. And just keep moving with it. Some people like to do it, I know when my mom made this, she would do it the long way. I prefer the shorter roll because I like the thickness of it. Stretch that a little bit so I have something to secure it with. And I'll pinch the ends so that the mixture doesn't come out. And now I'm going to try to move it without breaking it onto my cookie sheet. And I kind of half moon it. And this is what it will look like. Before I bake it, I'll brush butter on it and then put it into the oven at 375 for about 30 minutes. And then I will make like a marinara sauce for dipping. And it's basically a meal with a nice big salad. So this is my recipe for sausage bread. And I hope you enjoy it and have a wonderful day. And hope you check into our website. Vicki, give them that information again.
So if you like the video, do take a minute to like, subscribe, and ring the bell so that you will be notified of our next video. We upload every week.
Yep. Thank you for joining us and hope you have a wonderful day. God bless.